Yesterday, which is actually today because I'm recording these as a series, I screwed up. I screwed up with the what. I forgot to ask the question. I forgot to suggest that you take what and look at it through a couple of different lenses. So let's look at that through the lens of who. Before we get into who, I want to add a couple of other whats. What do you want? What does somebody else want? What do I do? What do I want to do? These are some what questions that we can ask internally of self to improve its self-reflection. And as we know, leadership starts with self. And if you're looking for leadership, start with a mirror. So ask yourself that what question. It's not just about asking others that what question. So let's talk about who. Who am I? Who am I? It's a great question. Who are you? Another good question. Who's involved? Who needs to be involved? Who has the problem? Who cares about the problem? Who's impacted by the problem? Heck, who cares about the people who have or are impacted by the problem? They typically have money. They have resources that are available, and they might not be so close to the problem, so they're not looking to solve for it. We're not talking specifically about problem solving here, but this who question becomes really important because who gives you perspective? Who gives you a chance to go out there and find others? Who gives you a chance to reflect on self? So who are the people in your neighborhood? They're the people that you meet when you're walking down the street. Leverage your own inner Mr. Rogers and try to figure out who else needs to be involved in the conversation. Who has influence? Get into those who questions. Because when you understand who has the problem, who cares about the problem, who's impacted by the problem, you start to gain additional perspective. When you start to gain additional perspective, you reduce blind spots, you reduce risk. So in your discovery, in your research, in the questions that you're doing as you work toward figuring out not only what problems you solve, but who you solve them for, ask better who questions and think about all of the people that are connected in the story that you're ultimately building. Who is not just a band, it's also a question. Make sure you're asking it. Thanks.